And then if there's any
Joe.
I work for the state government of New Jersey.
Is that all right? Can everyone see the screen up there?
One
Okay,
person
right?
does not.
That's all good. All right, great. So we're gonna get this underway. Has everyone had dinner yet? No. All right, I'm gonna try and keep it under 3 hours.
I thought you were gonna serve dinner.
Hey, that's in the other room. Just give me 20 minutes to run out. No, we should be about an hour. And then I'll be around for questions. Generally for questions. Everyone probably met Emily, should have signed in, gotten a folder. That's great. And if you need anything, you can ask Emily, she's right there. Okay, required minimum distributions. That's what we're talking about tonight. Does anyone know the penalty that the IRS levies if you don't take required minimum distributions from the IRS?
Substantial.
50%.
50%. That is one of the largest penalties levied by the IRS, to the tune of $2 billion. Right? So it makes sense to get it right. It makes sense to get it right. We had a woman recently come into our office, and when people come in for the first time, they bring statements, tax statement, things like that. So we're looking at the tax statement, and there's a $40,000 tax line item on there. Now, I'm not a CPA, but these things jump out at you. And I'm like, hey, do you know what happened here? Does this make sense to you? And she said, yep. Let me tell you my story. I'm like, oh, well, I sat down. And she said, I had a broker, and I couldn't take the volatility of the market last December, up and down, that sort of thing. And I said, send me a check for my entire IRA. I'm gonna put it in the bank. She took her check, she went to the bank, deposited it in there, walked away, right? And she knew what she was doing. She didn't think about it again until 1099 comes, it's full distribution, right? And she says, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Pulls her paperwork out, can't see the word IRA anywhere, goes down to the bank. Of course, the person she dealt with isn't there anymore. And the manager tries, and May said, hey man, the box wasn't checked off. And ultimately, she had to pay the full distribution tax, right? Which just goes to show you don't know what you don't know. It's a challenging environment, and sometimes when you think you're doing things right, it's not always that easy. So, required minimum distributions. These are what we're going to cover tonight on required minimum distributions. One, how to calculate your RMD, your required minimum distribution. Two, we're going to talk about the tax implications of taking the RMD. Three, we're going to talk about how to offset some of those tax, if it can, some ways of doing that for you. Number four, we're going to talk about if you're properly allocated within your IRA to move into the distribution phase of your life, right? Because from now, usually you've been stuffing your IRA for retirement. Now you need to start taking it out. And then the fifth thing we're going to talk about is beneficiaries of your retirement accounts and how to properly set them up to maximize the tax benefit you get from being in an IRA. All right? Does that sound good? 5 things we're going to cover?
Good.
All right, perfect. I am James Locke. I am part of Locke Associates. We are up in Wilmington, right on Concord Pike up there. I have been in the finance world for 20 years in various levels, from an options trader, wearing a funny jacket, yelling and screaming, to the institutional side of the market, dealing with large mutual funds and huge corporate pension funds, to where I am now on the retail side. Essentially, I traded in the corporate boardroom for the dining room. And that's where I am now. Jerry has been in this business for 50 years, and I am what's called a investment advisor representative with a company called Sound Income Strategies. I am registered with the SEC, and I am what's called a fiduciary. I'm sure you've probably all heard that. It's a big word now. And it ultimately means that when I talk with you, and anything I do with you, I have to take it from a big picture point of view and make sure it's the best thing for you, right? Can't just do a one-off sale, okay? That's who I am. Okay. Emily, can I get one of those folders? Okay. Everyone has one of these folders, these blue folders. I'm just gonna run through it real quick. On the left side, I'm sure you went through it, there's a bio there of me and a biography of Jerry. That's on the left side. On the right side, you got the PowerPoint presentation. When I go through it all, you can just write on that PowerPoint presentation whatever notes you want to have, any questions you might have, that sort of thing. There's 2 white papers that we've written: Understanding Required Minimum Distributions and Are Your Allocations Right for RMDs. Those are things that, you know, have some good information that you'll take back and understand better after this class. And then there's a cryptic page on the back, which I am not going to tell anyone about. That will be Jerry at the end. All right, this blue sheet. All right, this blue sheet, it's important to you, and it's important to me. Why is it important to me? It's got your name and address, and I'll ask you to fill that out on the top. It also has information about this class. So we do a lot of education classes. This is required minimum distributions. We do Social Security, long-term care, IRAs, various different kinds of classes. Education is something that's important to me. It's been important to Jerry for many, many years, decades. Right? So that's why it's important to me. Why is it important to you? Well, this class is an overview of required minimum distributions. This is textbook information we're going to go through, right? You're going to have an endless amount of individual cases that you're going to have questions about, and I'm absolutely going to try and answer them, but if I'm going to get you out of here in the hour without serving dinner, right, I'm just not going to be able to get to all your questions. I will certainly try to do that. So what do? We offer anyone who comes tonight a free 1-hour meeting in our office, right on Concord Pike. And you come in with your individualized questions, whatever you have, and we'll sit down and answer. It's a completely pro bono meeting that we offer to you so that you can ask me anything you want. You can pick my brain and things like that. Now, what happens in that meeting? Well, I'm not trying to sell you as a client, okay? If you feel you get information here tonight and it's worth your time to come up, then you come up and you pick my brain. Okay, that's my offer to you. All right? That's all it is. Our name in this industry is really all we have. So my business integrity and my name that you say, oh, hey, James said we can come up for a meeting, and we talked, and I left, and that's what we did. That's important to me. Okay, so why do we do these free meetings? Well, RMDs are important to everyone in this room, but when I was talking with Emily about RMDs, she said, huh, what? And you know, the thing is, remember I started with the $2 billion of the penalties, and that's a real number, right? So we're trying to raise awareness on financial things that are important, things that we love, things that are important to us, that we try and bring out to the public. Reality is, if you have your, your whole estate plan, your financial plan, and things like that. Are there any chairs back there, Jerry?
No. There's two chairs right there.
You want to sit here, or you want to just sit on the back? It's up to you. There.
They want to sit
I'll sit here in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Right there. Go ahead, just grab the chair. So your financial plan can be seriously sidetracked if you do not have your RMDs properly set up. Also, you'll remember I did something nice for you. If you have a financial question in the future, you'll say, hey, I'll go ask James, okay? Now, it's a pro bono meeting. I only have a certain amount of slots available, so I'm gonna ask you to sign up for that hour today. And I'm gonna go into that a little bit later, but basically I'm gonna ask you to kind of sign up for that hour today so we have an indication. Like I said, it is just an hour, it's a free meeting. I have a number of paying clients I have to deal with as well, so it's a mix of time. All right. RMDs, required minimum distributions. Why do they exist? Well, the government wants you to save for retirement, right? Pensions are disappearing or gone. So the government has a way of saying, like, hey, here's a way you can save for retirement. And what they do is they allow you to put money in to an account, tax deferred, not tax free, tax deferred, right? And you can let it grow. And then at some point, the government says, hey, I want my money, right? They always want their money. And that's where the required minimum distributions come in, okay? The RMD is gonna be the annual amount that you're gonna have to pull out and pay taxes on. Again, it's a minimum amount. You can always take more, but this will be the minimum amount that you'll have to take out. So when do you have to start taking your RMDs? In the year you turn 70 and a half. That's the first year you have to take out something from your retirement account. In the year you turn 70 and a half. Now, what'll happen is, in the year you turn 70 and a half, you have to, you have until April 1st of the next year to take that RMD. Now, there is an exception to that rule, is in the first year, you turn 70 and a half, you can actually wait until the second year and take 2 distributions in that second year. All right? Is that clear as mud? Right? It's not as complicated as it sounds, but basically the number is set. In the year you turn 70 and a half is when you're going to be forced to start taking money out of your retirement accounts. Okay. Well, the exception here, I'm sorry, is if you are still working when you're 70 and a half and putting money into a company plan, you would not have to take money out of that, even at 70 and a half, as long as you're still working. That is the one exception there. All right, so how much is the RMD gonna be? All right, well, it's a pretty easy calculation. You're gonna take your account value on December 31st. All right, in this example, in your sheets there, $158,000. Whatever your account value is on December 31st, you're going to divide it by your IRS assumed life expectancy. So in this example, 73 years old. All right, life expectancy 24.7. You divide the 158 by 24.7. There you go, $6,400. That's your RMD. That's what you have to take out. All right. Okay, this formula is for single people and people who were married to a spouse within 10 years. Okay? Now, you'll notice the life expectancy for a 73-year-old is 24.7. That's pretty long. Again, part of the reason why they do that is they want this money to last. They want this money to last for retirement, right? Out there. And on top of that, they're also assuming that you're married to someone 10 years younger than you, so the money needs to last for them as well, right? So that's why the life expectancy seems higher than reality, right? But it's a good thing, because they're not trying to, you know, be overly burdensome on you. So then I included the actual table. If you can get this on the internet, but right here, 27.4, it's about 3.6% in the first year. And it goes up from there. You'll notice 115 and over. I don't know anyone 115 years old. But the point is it never runs out, right? 1.9. If you live forever, you're only going to be taking out half of your money. Okay? So it's meant to last for retirement. So then I said, you know, what if your spouse is more than 10 years? Well, the calculation is going to be the same. You're going to take your December 31st value, but you have a different table that you have to go to, right? The government can't make it easy. So there's a different table you have to go to, get a different life expectancy, because with spouses more than 10 years apart, there's a longer joint life, right? And that table, as well as here, you kind of cross your ages, and you'll find your table. And that should be in there as well. I like that, just don't need that, right? Good, that's good. All right, I ran through a bunch of stuff. Anything I said that wasn't clear?
Not that it's not clear, but say you're born after June, July through December, so you won't turn 70 and a half till the following year after you turn 70, whereas most people base it on the year they turn 70. So then you have a whole nother year?
That's correct. So, in the year, if you turn 70 and a half on July 1st, right? No.
Well, no, if you were born after.
But if you're born after July 1st, and it's going to go into January, when you're 70 and a half, excuse me, right? Yeah, then it's going to be.
For instance.